Check, check, quick sound check. Can everybody hear me loud and clear? Sorry about that. Sorry about the technical difficulties, but it is great to be back. Do a little sound check. We'll check, make sure everything is looking good, sounding good. We'll get started. Coach Paul's out today. Yeah, Coach Hoop, I made it home. And now Coach Paul's on the road. He'll be back tomorrow. He'll be back with us, joining us tomorrow. So safe travels there at Coach Paul. Dan, good to see you. Alex, what's up? We in the chat. Sorry about the little technical difficulty. There's an echo. See if we can get rid of that echo. Second here. Hey, what's up, Manfred? Good to see you in the chat. What about now? Is that echo still there? Welcome everyone to At the Buzz, our market recap. If this is your first time here, the goal of this segment is to review what happened in the markets for the day. We may talk about some markets that you have not traded before, but we believe our goal as traders is to identify opportunity. We want to see how we could take advantage of those opportunities while managing our risk. I am Coach Jay, the Topstep performance coach since June of 2023. Been trading for the past 14 years and futures markets for the past 6, going on 7 years now. Back from vacation. It was some much needed time off. Shout out to Mexico City. My first time. I love traveling in Mexico. First time in Mexico City. Great food city if anyone loves food. Obviously, we saw what was going on in other parts of Mexico over the weekend. So prayers to the country of Mexico for everyone's safety there. But I'm happy to be back, coming back from 80-degree weather into the snow that we had here in the East Coast. But good to be home, good to be back in the markets, and took some trades today. Let me know how your trading day went, how your week started. Are you up on the day, down on the day? Anything that you learned from the day? I'm coming back in fresh, trading with this Topstep live account. We talked about it before I went out for vacation, but that live account should be prepared by the time I got back, which is great to see. Was able to take advantage of the markets today. We'll talk about some of those trades and all of the markets in general. Let's take a look at the news to start. And again, if you guys have any questions while we're going through this, let me know. As far as news goes, we had a bunch of Fed speakers today. I'm still kind of getting caught up and was traveling as well, but was able to kind of pay attention to the markets, listening to Topstep TV while I was traveling. Shout out to in-flight Wi-Fi, being able to take some of the trades in either an Uber or on the flight. But consumer confidence came in at 91.2. Forecast was 87.1. Outside of that, it looks like we had wholesale inventories came in pretty much in line with expectations. Wholesale sales month over month came in at 1.1%. Forecast was 0.2%. I know there was some talks about a potential peace deal between Iran and the U.S. So crude oil saw some selling on that as well. Kairan, I missed you too, man. Missed everyone in the chat. Missed doing this, to be honest. I didn't take too much time off, right? You guys saw opening call yesterday and fast markets. I was still technically working while in Chicago, but it's good to be back home and good to be doing At the Buzzer again. Take a look at the quote board. We have 36 different markets we can trade with Topstep accounts today. To the downside, we had the Japanese yen down 0.83%. We had gold down 0.89%, and we had natural gas down 2.64%. To the upside, we had the Nikkei up 2%, copper up 2.08%, and lean hogs, our biggest percentage mover to the upside, up 2.24%. To talk about our big four, we had crude oil pretty much flat, down 0.08%. We have the S&P up almost 0.75%, 0.72. We already talked about gold down 0.91%, and the NASDAQ, our biggest percentage mover in our big four, up 1.03%. For me, I traded the Russell today. The Russell was also up 1.06%. You can see the executions here. We'll talk about those in just a minute. But let's take a look at the NASDAQ. On the daily, we are still very much in this range. Range-bound markets. We talked to Jessica and Skip yesterday, great guest on opening call. She kind of put in perspective what was really going on in the markets. We've been talking about, the NASDAQ being in a range for the past 4 months. October 10th is still that significant candle to me. Nothing has changed here. Look at 50% of this candle right now. We're pretty much just ranging between the 200 moving average on the daily and 50% of that October 10th candle for now. And speaking to Jessica yesterday, one of the things she mentioned was just the overall breadth in the market, right? Where normally we're looking at the heavy tech weighted NASDAQ and the basically the top 7 companies in the world uh, driving the market, and we're not really seeing that right now. Right, seeing a lot more investment go into traditional IT companies and things like that. So overall, the markets are doing great, but the tech-heavy Nasdaq is kind of stuck in this range, maybe until tomorrow. Right, tomorrow we got Nvidia earnings. We'll have an Nvidia watch party after the close, and we'll see how Nvidia affects the markets. But it's range for now. Range for now. With that being said, it's a decent enough range to still trade. Looking at the daily ATR, is still over 450 points, 457-point daily ATR, 384 point range high to low today, which tells me that there's still opportunity. Um, I actually really welcome this, and we talked about this last week, before I went on vacation. But as long as the Nasdaq stays in, an environment where high to low, it's presenting, 300 to 400 point ranges. A year ago, that was a trending day, right? So we're not going anywhere on a higher time frame, and I actually kind of welcome that because you know where the opportunity and the extremes are, right? Where your trade executions can happen to a high probability, where you can comfortably limit risk. Of course, nothing is certain, and we could have taken out a prior day low, but a lot of overlap in these 3 daily candles. A lot of overlap to start the week, and clearly defined ranges for now. I'm going to take a look at the 30-minute chart here. Wesley, thank you, thank you. Thanks for joining. Looking at the 30-minute, again, this is range. I don't even want to overanalyze it. The opportunities right now, we have a 200 moving average on the 30-minute, which we look at all the time. It's a flat line. We have price trading on both sides of it. We have volume trading on both sides of it over the past 5 trading days. Somewhere up near 25,000 to 25,050. Below those 25,100s, we're finding sellers. Somewhere near 24,700, we're finding buyers for now. Is that going to stay that way? Of course not. This is the Nasdaq. It's going to break out of this range eventually. But until there's a catalyst, and we have some potential catalysts, Nvidia earnings tomorrow, we have PPI on Friday. That could get us out of this range. But until it happens, we trade what we see in front of us. I'm going to switch over to the Russell now, which is giving us a very similar. Nice time to be a range trader. Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Very nice time to be a range trader here. We can see again my executions in this live account so far. I have traded it. Didn't spend a whole lot of time trading it over the past couple of days, but it's tough even on vacation, right? When you're out, sometimes it's hard to not look at the screens, right? I wasn't at the screen 24 hours a day, but you can see there's still some trade executions in here, right? So in the Russell, we have pretty similar story here. Flat VWAP, flat 200 moving average on the 30-minute chart. We have on the daily, we're still very much in this range as well. And took a couple of trades in the Russell today. We'll go over those executions and why my targets were where they were. You guys know for sure where one of the targets was. You can see kind of where, I don't even know if I got out up there, but let's take a look at the executions of this trade. So initially, I got short the Russell. And I'm tuning into Topstep TV. Shout out to Topstep X, great platform to trade on, even if it's mobile. And didn't really want to force a trade here, but saw an opportunity that looked like we had the potential to push lower. So I got short for a scratch trade, pretty much. Got short almost right on the open. I was looking at a 1-minute opening range trade. 1-minute opening range trade here, and this is to me a perfect example of not marrying a bias because I was completely wrong on that initial trade. Right on the break of the 1-minute opening range to the downside, it looked like VWAP was going to leave that range to the downside as well. Initially, maybe I preempted this trade. I definitely did preempt this trade, but took it for a scratch. Got out right away, and then reassessed and said, okay, you know what? A couple of things happened. Why am I looking at a 1-minute chart? I'm going to switch to the 3-minute, which I normally trade. And on the 3-minute, I get a clear trade examples, right? So one of the things I even myself have to be conscious of is switching time frames to try to find a trade. I base my entire strategy off the 3-minute chart. So I have to trade 3-minute chart. And in that case, the 3-minute clearly was showing that the market was trying to push up. and the higher time frame, like we mentioned already, uh, all of these markets are range bound. You can see I took a trade last night as well. This trade paid for some dinner. But uh, on the 3 minute chart, there was no attempt to leave that 3 minute range to the downside. We held 50% of it. Volume's actually pointing to the upside. So now my job is to try to get in long. Uh, of course, the target on this, for most of you probably know, go back out to the 30-minute chart. What is that white line? It's the 200 moving average. We had price and volume trading below it, but a nice opportunity to trade into it. Uh, I had a target set for, and I got into a 3 lot, very comfortable trading a 3 lot in the Russell. But the target was set for 26.52. I think I posted this on Twitter when I was in the trade. But and I want to go over trade executions a lot more on this show, just to kind of explain the thought process. I was in a 3 lot risking about $600 on this trade. There aren't many times where, if I show trade executions, there aren't many times where I'm going to take a full position to a profit target. And in this case, I didn't take any of the position to the full profit target, and I'm okay with that, right? Still being up $1,100 on the day. I'm, the one thing I want to focus on, the thing I want to focus on mainly, especially starting with this live account, is the downside management. Of course, there's going to be time to continue to build account, build the balance as it as we continue to trade. But right now, I'm just looking for good trade setups and downside management, and then everything else from that is going to take care of itself. So getting long a 3 lot, I was already up a couple dollars on the day, but then as quickly as possible paying for the trade, where if my risk was $600, I want to be able to pay myself $600 and then let the runner do its thing, right? So you can see on this one, 26.44 was the last contract that I had on, and the idea behind this was, once we started to push, of course, I going in with a potential target of 26.52. That was the 200 moving average at the time on the 30-minute. So that's a potential target, but is there a guarantee that the market's going to hit that? There's not, right? So I have to manage what's in front of me, and this is the trade I get to see here. So once I take a couple off and I have the 1 lot runner, what I'm looking at is, okay, how close did we get to the target? We got to within 2 points. Hogs talks about that 10% rule all the time. If we stopped here and this was the high of the day and turned around and I didn't take any profits, I'd be pissed at myself, right? But because we got to within 2 points of the target, now I'm going to manage based on the structure that I see in the market. So we see these 3-minute candles. We haven't taken out a prior candle's low on this way up. So this is 15 minutes straight of buying. Now my stop is going to go below the candle that pretty much hit my target, right? 2.5 points away. My risk is going to go below that candle for the runner. So as long as this candle holds, this is the one that pretty much achieved the goal I was looking at for this trade. This doesn't hold, then I don't care really what happens after that. Now, in hindsight, I could have said, yeah, maybe I just hold on to the trade and go from there. But I don't get to manage it that way, right? I was in the back of an Uber making a decision, but I don't even know that changes anything. I think if I was sitting at my desk, I would manage this trade the same way, because again, this is a potential target, but it doesn't have to get there, right? So you have to manage what's in front of you. Turned out to be a pretty good trade. Of course, we traded back above that 200 moving average for a little bit and then started to consolidate for the rest of the day. But really nice opportunity in the Russell. I saw somebody say that they took the same trade in the S&P. Pretty Lily, nice trade. Chaz, yeah, I'm glad I'm back as well. I'm back as well. Praying for everyone's safety. I actually have a friend that I went to high school with that was in Puerto Vallarta right now, so I think she's able to get home, but hopefully everyone in Mexico is safe right now. You said it, right? Capital preservation trade for tomorrow, right? There's going to be opportunity pretty much every day, but if I don't have an account to trade it, what does it matter, right? If I'm able to read the trade setups, but I don't have an account to trade, we're kind of just spinning our wheels here. Has there been any challenges mentally with the switch to live or same Coach J trading with different account name? Pretty much same Coach J right now. What's been interesting, Billy, is the past 3 days I haven't been home. I got the live account Friday. Yeah, it's been 3 trading days so far. So I got the live account Friday. I've traded every day since Friday, but I wasn't at my desk, right? So the same process. I just wasn't in my normal element. I was trading mostly on my phone. But the same process, not really much of a change. Again, thinking about the downside. But that's what we always think about, right? It's hey, manage your risk and then take your opportunities. So kind of, I haven't. It's been about 2 weeks since I've traded a Topstep account because the XFA got to the point where the balance was at 100K. Then you have to wait a couple of days the uh, for the live account transfer. So I didn't really want to push it aggressively. What I have done, this account right now is locked from trading the NASDAQ. That asset is not available to trade here. You can see in the risk settings, uh, no NASDAQ, right? So that's in the symbol block. And then what I'm doing is the daily loss limit, which it says 150K account. I got to ask the live team about this. It says 150K, but it was 100K XFA. So I'm going based on the 100K XFA, which was a $3,000 drawdown. You can see my personal daily loss limit set to liquidate and block is 2,400, which is 12% of the balance that I started with. As it continues to grow, then this number percentage-wise is going to go the opposite way, right? So pretty much every $6,000 in this account, this daily loss limit is going to increase in dollar amount, but percentage of the account it's going to go down. Have I been live before, Mo? I have. I trade a personal live account as well. It's been a little while since I've been in a live account at Topstep. It was. I've said it a bunch of times. 2025 was not a great year trading for me, but now I'm just not even thinking about it. Put that year behind us. Put those trades behind us. Put these trades, after we review these for today, put them behind us and keep going forward. And I think that's why I've been able to trade so well so far this year, right? And the goal is just to keep that going. All right. Any questions you guys have? Let me know. Take a look. Is the feeling different trading live to XFA? So, Mo, I love that question. So we had, Dakota was on air with MP today. A bunch of people have been asking about, can we get multiple live accounts and things like that. The best thing for me here, Mo, and we have to operate within the environment that we're in, right? Is there an environment potentially that Topstep offers multiple live accounts? Potentially, but if I look at what reality is, regardless if you trade one XFA and anywhere from 1 to 5, when you get to a live environment, you're going to be trading one account. So for me, there hasn't been a different feeling moving from XFA to live because I've been trading one account this entire time, right? And a lot of the conversation right now on social media is, well, there's the psychological easing of the pressure from trading multiple accounts and making the same amount of money, right? If I can trade 5 accounts and just make $200, then I make $1,000 in a day instead of having to make $1,000 in one account. That's great if you're conditioning yourself to trade 5 accounts when you get to live. But the way I look at it is if the current circumstances say I can only trade one account, then I have to train myself to trade one account. So sometimes people look at their copy trading and they don't see it as one account. But I think when you do the extrapolation of, I made $200 across 5 accounts here at Topstep, or some people do it. I made $10 in 26,000 accounts, and I made however much money at other firms. I don't think you're really training yourself to trade what reality is, right? If and when you get moved to a live account. So for me, it hasn't been a change, but it's been an intentional focus to not trade more than one account building up to this point. Hopefully that makes sense. Makes it way easier one account. I agree, Coach Hoop, because and then you get Coach Hoop, you get the question from people. It's like, well, okay, sometimes I'm going to copy trade, and then other times I'm going to trade them separately in different strategies. I don't know about you guys, but trading is so damn hard for me that I can't choose when I'm going to take a good trade in one account. The one thing that I've realized for myself, and again, this might not be the case for everybody, but I've tried to trade multiple accounts with different strategies, and I still do now. Again, I trade a personal account, but right now, because I'm in this live account with Topstep, my personal account is taking a little bit of a backseat, and I'm not going to trade it every day. Anytime I've tried to trade multiple accounts with different strategies, I felt like I was just kind of spinning my wheels where I would trade in one account really well one day and then say, okay, yeah, that account's done for the day. I'm going to switch over to the other one. But what you don't realize is that when you make that switch over to trade a quote unquote different strategy, you guys know I say it all the time. If I'm trading in the middle of the day, I'm probably, you know, break even to negative, right? Overall P&L. If I try to compartmentalize and say, okay, I'm going to trade one account during the day, which is my best trading time, and then I'm going to split my focus to another account and trade that during the middle of the day, and then a different strategy at the end of the day, I feel like none of the accounts really gain any traction, right? So I think for me is okay, there's potential to make however much money you want in the markets, right? If I focus on just trading good setups in one account, I don't have to worry about doing all of the split. And that's just for me, right? Again, a bunch of people have different opinions on it, but for me, it's hey, focus on the main thing, keep the main thing, and execute well there, and it doesn't really matter. Uh, he says you're so correct. We have to have extreme focus and discipline, one strategy, one market, one account. And MP was saying that today. And you know me, I don't agree with one market, right? Uh, and so somebody's going to look at me and say, well, sure, you're trading one account, but you're trading 16 different markets. I'm looking for one process, right? So at some point, you have to, if we're doing science experiments, right, you can't have too many variables. Something has to be a constant in order for you to really track progress. And that's the way I look at this here. If I'm continually changing accounts, changing strategies, changing markets, changing setups, there's just way too many variables to track whether or not I'm actually making progress, in my opinion. Um, but yeah, do what works for you. Do what works for you. NASDAQ, very similar day here. Initial sell off, and got kind of stuck right around 25,000s. Any questions on the equities? Going into tomorrow, what I'm expecting is the same. Range bound activity, maybe a more consolidated day tomorrow just because we have NVIDIA earnings after the close. But of course, anything can happen. So I'll wait and see what the markets say from there. But really not going to try to force any trades, just taking opportunities as they set up. But I haven't seen anything that's changed as far as environment goes in the equities pretty much since I've been out. But that's what we have there. Let's take a look. Oh, I have to actually sign out of here. So, okay, the one thing that has changed, somebody had asked, has anything changed? In the live account, you have to pay for data. So Topstep covers all of the equity markets, the currencies and things like that. But for HomeX data, gold, crude oil, things like that, you do have to pay for that data. So I did not enable that data subscription yet. So we're going to sign out here really quick and sign into different environments. Sorry about that. All right, cool. So here we are. Take a look at gold. State of the Union address tonight at 9 p.m. Yeah, that is going to be a mover for sure. That is going to be a mover. Even if it's not directional, it'll be volatile, right? I imagine thin markets and everyone kind of holding on to what the president is saying, especially with everything that's going on. With Iran, I'd be watching crude oil tonight for sure, and the metals. Is it possible to have XFAs while one acclimated to the live? So no. Once you get moved to a live account, you can't activate any more XFAs. If you wanted to, I believe you could still pass combines, but you won't be able to activate them until you no longer have a live account. Which again, I think it's just once you get to the point of having a live account, just focus there. Because there's more. People try to game it. They're like, oh, I'm just going to take the big payout and then get back to the XFAs. Like if you trade well in the live account, there are benefits to trading it, right? People try to say it's not. Oh, they limit you. I'm gonna ask that if you hang out with us all the time, don't listen to that FUD. If you trade well, there are benefits to trading well. No one ever talks about those. So just do that. But the XFAs have a time limit to activate. Isn't it 30 days? So if you have a live account, then that doesn't apply, right? If it's not any fault of your own that you can't activate the XFA, then there's no fault of your own. But again, I don't know that if by the time I get to a live account, I don't know that I would split my focus. This combine I have is now just to be able to do this show until I get data for the live account, right? I don't really care about any other account but that one. Let's take a look at gold here on the daily. Still somewhat in this range, holding up pretty nicely. Last couple of days, we did have a nice bid in gold. It looks like 5,200 for now is going to be that resistance area. Manfred, yeah, I haven't seen many people talk about that new consistency target with the XFAs, but you can get an XFA payout in 3 days, right? If you keep your consistency to 40%. Hold on, let's see here, 5,200s, and we'll talk about the benefits to the live account after we go over gold here. But gold, holding above the 50% of this major sell-off over the past couple of days. Nice bid in this market for now. Let's pull up these moving averages. back on here. 200. All right, so holding above the 20 moving average, holding above the 50, above the 200 on the daily. Still some separation here, right? Gold took a hit, but we're almost, we are, what is this, about 60% of the way through this sell off, um, which it seems crazy, but gold could be making all time highs soon. Really nice recovery here in gold. Today, obviously, was a sell off day, but over the past couple of days, we've seen a bid in this market for sure. Take a look at the 30-minute here and the last night's open. Last night, decent selling. I kind of wish that I had gold data. I need to go ahead and pay that data subscription because really nice move in the metals. They're going to continue to move pretty nicely. Of course, there's still some restrictions on contract size, but don't let anyone tell you that the limitations of contract size is limiting at all. There's more than enough opportunity in these markets, especially with trading micros, where you can take on comfortable risk in these markets. And if you let your trades work out, who cares if we limit size, right? Of course, no one wants to be limited in anything, right? I'm a full grown adult. Let me trade all the size that I can. But sometimes in extremely volatile markets, it's a good thing to size down. Last night, we didn't get a ton of urgency until the Asia session. Here's that first half an hour from the Asia session, this purple box here. Go down to a shorter time frame. We know that because of that volatility that comes in during the Asia session, we've talked about looking at a shorter time frame opening range. Here is 8 p.m. Eastern time and VWAP attached to that. That's an urgency trade, and it held for the rest of the day. If you're a new viewer, what we're looking at is 3-minute opening range, VWAP attached to that range. We didn't even attempt to trade the upper extreme of the range on the 3-minute. Volume left pretty early. And we got some consolidation. We kind of sat in this consolidation for 12 hours, pretty much the entire overnight session. But once New York came back in, we see more selling, and that was the trend for the day. So really nice opportunities to sell gold today. There was, did we get a J trade at the low? Kind of. Wasn't the highest volume of the day, but it's the candle that made the low. How do we know this is a reversal? We don't until it is. But if you're looking at, okay, this is relatively high volume compared to what we've had on the day, it wasn't an A+ setup because we had higher volume in other candles, but still pretty significant. Once we get that candle close above, there is opportunity here. Who's still trading the metals right now? I'm just curious. Who is trading the metals? I know silver, probably not as much volume trading there, but who's still taking advantage of the opportunity in the metals? We had Aaron trading on fast markets today. He trades during the London session. We got Dee doing metal markets, so she trades a bunch of them. But again, still a ton of opportunity. Manfred's trading silver. So, and here's the thing, right? And Manfred, I think you're a lot like me. You're a momentum trader, right? And sometimes, especially with the metals right now, that's still where some of the momentum is lower volume. So I think we have to be careful as far as being over leveraged because we do see some of the gaps. And again, that's why I like the reducing the contract size because sure, we're not going to completely limit you from taking opportunities, but it has to be reasonable, right? And in silver right now, today was a pretty consolidated day. There's still opportunity in here, right? There's still opportunity. Silver so far is still weaker, in my opinion, and just from the technicals than gold. We haven't gotten back above that 50% level. So for whatever reason, $89 is a level in silver that no one wants to trade above. But there is still decent opportunity. Today was kind of a range-bound day. I think there was much cleaner price action in gold than there was in silver today, but similar trade here. First 30 minutes of the Globex session set the high of the day. We did come back and take a look at it. And then this Asia session, it was a pretty choppy day. I heard Hogue and Coach Ray talking about this during the opening call this morning. And saying that, if you're looking for a correlation trade between silver and gold, it's just not there. And it hasn't been there for a little while now. I think over the last couple of months, we've been seeing that if silver trends one day, gold is consolidated and vice versa, right? If gold is trending, silver is not. And I think we saw a little bit of that today. But if you're a range-bound trader, identify your extremes, take your opportunities from there. 2 lots in silver is more than enough, 100%. Yeah, and it's a micro, right? It's the reason that 100-ounce contract just came online, which has been trading some decent volume. Uh, that's a big contract, and it wasn't a big contract a year and a half ago, right, when silver was trading $30, but the the market has tripled in size, right? So you have to slow down. Micros is even enough with gold. Yeah, I mean, we saw Aaron had a really nice trade, 140 ticks today in gold with one micro, right? And that's $100 in a couple of minutes. You know, everyone wants to make $1 million yesterday, but you don't consider the risk that's on the other side of that. So, metal's taking advantage of me to Sleepy Mocha. Uh, Try to determine what it is, right? Maybe your strategy right now is not aligned with how the metals are moving. I know for me, if I tried to trade silver today, I probably would have lost money. Um, but a range trader who identifies the extremes could take advantage of something like this, right? So, you know, identify the market conditions first and then apply your strategy to it, or have multiple strategies. Uh, but if I'm looking at silver here, if I was trying to trade breakout momentum, it probably wasn't going to happen today. At least on a 30-minute time frame, I would have had to go down to a shorter time frame. Trying to make $1 million in a day is the safest way to blow an account. Oh yeah, the easiest way. You want to get rid of an account, try to make $1 million that day with a $2,000 to $4,500 drawdown. You could do it quicker than you would imagine. All right, let's take a look at crude oil. Crude on the daily has been a very interesting market again to trade. Got to continue to give that shout out to Coach Paul. He's not here today, but crude being the market of 2026, I think with all of the geopolitical news that we're hearing and seeing right now, crude oil is just a land of opportunity. We are still holding that VWAP from the low of the year. We had this rollover range that we can see lower volume. We had a lot of overlap, but then over the past couple of days, we've broken out of this range. To me, this just looks like a bear flag pattern again. Oh, sorry, a bull flag pattern. Right, this looks like a bull flag here. As long as we hold that low, our drawing is not going to be the best, but another potential breakout. The one thing with crude is it's probably not going to break out without a headline. Right, it's not just this market it's a commodity market. It's not just going to go up because it wants to go up. I think there has to be a catalyst. We're kind of at the mercy of headlines coming out in this market, but I'm still pretty bullish overall. Just the structure that I'm seeing now. If that structure breaks, if it changes, then sure, we don't hold on to a bias. We can change directions, but for right now, still bullish crude. Let's take a look at the 30-minute. Does Topstep offer the SIG contract? Not yet. Not yet, Faye. It might be something that comes online in the future, but I think what has to happen first is we have to assess whether or not it even trades enough volume to bring it online, which it seems like it has been, right? So it could be something that we bring online later, but for right now we don't. And yeah, Tristan, that's the new micro contract, the SIC. Here's crude oil today, and again, this market is not just going to break out. So if you look to the left, so we had a couple things going on here. I think we drew this trend line once. Drew another one that was kind of here. But then I'm looking at these highs, right? Hopefully this is not confusing what I just did here, but right. So we broke the trend line, which gave us the room to kind of go higher. But then we have these kind of equal highs up here. This $66 level, and then the $68 level up here. I think Hogue's weekly kickoff is somewhere up here as well. This is an area where we've seen. Don't think. Oh no, the team did take the opening range trade today. Did I freeze for a second? Should be back. What's going on? I got to call Verizon again. Opening range trade, 1 minute opening range is what we look at in crude oil. And yeah, I did it. Yeah, I don't. Verizon is they're gonna get a strongly worded email from me sometime soon because these random glitches just happen. Here's the opening range trade in crude oil, right? The team on opening call, they take the 1 minute opening range trade. I wasn't looking at this, but this is a beautiful example of, a trade setup. And then one of the things that we look for confirmation, this is some pretty decent urgency right now. We didn't get it in the first 3 minute candle, but or the first couple of minutes, but here's a 1 minute opening range. Price closes outside that range fairly early. We have volume looking like it's going to leave. And, very similar to what happened in the Russell, this didn't have to confirm, right? So, in my opinion, if I take this short here in crude oil, I don't necessarily have confirmation yet that it's going to go lower on this time frame. But once the volume starts to leave, then I do have confirmation that okay, now not only is price advertising lower, volume, and this is an added confirmation, right? So if you're newer to taking this trade, waiting for this VWAP to leave the range could give you a higher probability. It's not a guarantee that it's going to work, but we just saw in the Russell, right, where I took that short, volume never left the range, and then it turned around and it turned out to be a great long trade, right? So sometimes waiting for confirmation could have you sacrifice trade location, but I'm okay giving up a I'm okay giving up a couple points to get some confirmation. Really nice trade there in crude. I'm pretty sure the house held it all day. So stock pursuit, great comment here. I've heard Ethernet cable is more reliable internet. So I have an Ethernet cable connected, but I gotta again I have to talk to Verizon because my download speeds are like 100 megabytes per second, and then the uploads are like 4 when I have the Ethernet cable connected, and it's like 500 upload when I have the when I'm on Wi-Fi. So if anyone is a tech guru in the chat and can explain to me why that's happening, why I'm getting throttled on the upload speed when I have an Ethernet connection, that would be greatly appreciated. Greatly appreciated. But we'll save the IT talk. That was a past life. I don't even remember how to do it at this point to check. But that's what we have in crude oil, and at a level that you know has has to hold. Micro Bitcoin is at a level that has to hold here. We talked about this with Jessica Inskip on opening call yesterday, but we have a ton of heavy volume here that is holding for now, right? We traded almost down to 60,000 the other day. Yeah, it's a hold on. We'll talk tech stuff after this, but Bitcoin's really interesting here, right? So watch this 62,750 level if you're trading micro Bitcoin today. Not very interesting. You can see the low volume that's been trading over the past couple of days. But this candle holding, we say it all the time on shorter time frames, right? Sometimes high volume means continuation. Now we haven't really gotten that continuation, so this could be the lower extreme of the range to buy. We can see since we printed that candle, it's a flat VWAP, right? Since we printed this highest volume candle, VWAP's been pretty flat, which tells us range bound market. And this is the first real test. I'm not counting the day after. This is the first real test since we printed that candle of the potential support, right? That's where buyers stopped, or that's where sellers at least stopped selling for now. Today it acted as a support, right? That 62,750 level. If this breaks, there's a lot of room down in Bitcoin. We could be talking about 50,000s pretty quick if this breaks. So I'm going to continue to watch this. I haven't traded it much. It is still a nice market to trade, 50 cents a tick in the micros, but really nice market to trade. And I think going to continue to be interesting here. Any other questions you guys have as far as markets go? If not, any questions in general, go with Spectrum. I should go with Spectrum, right? Sounds like an issue with the router. So it's a pretty new router. Maybe I could do a firmware update. I haven't checked if I'm due for one, but I just got this router 6 months ago. So it seems like the download speeds are fine. I could run a speed test right now. Yeah, let's take a look. Right now I'm on Wi-Fi, so it'll be fine. Yeah, download speed right now on Wi-Fi 750 megabytes. Upload speed is going to be somewhere around 500. When I connect an Ethernet cable, the download speeds go to 900 megabytes and the upload speeds go to 4. So yeah, if it's cell-based internet, go with wired into home. Good suggestions. Yeah, I got to figure it out because yeah, right now upload speed on my Wi-Fi is 800 megabytes. I would prefer to be connected for obvious reasons, but yeah, I got to check the cable. That's a good question. That's a good point. But I will take a look at that. You need a higher cat cable. That's a great question. I have to check. It's one of those longer cables, so it's probably a lower one. But good points, and I appreciate the suggestions for sure. Any other questions you guys have as far as markets go? If not, we can wrap it up here. Again, Coach Paul will be back tomorrow. We have Nvidia earnings watch party tomorrow. We'll have some special guests on to take a look at Nvidia and how it affects the equity markets as well. But if we got nothing else, we can wrap it up there. We got Coach Hoop doing a class in Discord at 6 p.m. Eastern time. After that, we have Coach Ray and Coach Vince, 7 p.m. and 8 p.m. Dakota with slow markets tonight at 8:30. I'll be on with him. Then we have Aaron with the London Open at 2:30 Eastern. D with the metal markets at 5:30 Eastern time. And we'll be back tomorrow for the opening call at 8:15 Eastern time. Thanks everyone for joining. Again, sorry for the tech difficulties. We'll figure those out. And trade well. Never traded micro Bitcoin. Should I try it now? So Moto, if you don't over leverage in any market, you should be okay. Your cheeks should be all right. But if you over leverage, then I can't. No one can help you, right? But I think micro Bitcoin is a great market to trade, just because it moves pretty well. It kind of moves like the equities. It moves around the same time as the equities, and it's just not expensive, right? It's like trading a micro NASDAQ or a micro S&P. But don't over leverage. Don't over leverage. But yeah, again, good to be back, everybody. Continue to trade well, manage your risk, and we all tomorrow. Bye.